Hello and welcome to the 110th edition of Marex Maritime News. The headlines Monday, the 21st of March 2022. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has boosted demand for sugar. Forwarders warn of landside logistics disruption in China. Drybulk uptrends bring optimism. Newbuilding orders growing at a steady pace. Guidelines for the Maritime Expert Witness launched. Sanctions following Russia's invasion of Ukraine have boosted demand for sugar. Russia is receiving nearly 200,000 tons of Brazilian raw sugar sold by European traders, which is double the country's normal annual imports of the sweetener. Yet sanctions may also make it harder for shippers to get paid for their cargoes. Forwarders have warned of landslide logistic disruption in China from the latest round of COVID-related lockdowns, despite key gateway ports said to be operating normally.
After the Chinese New Year, early February, we saw a steep drop in prices for freight rates from China to India. However, we then heard news about massive growth in the pandemic. We also heard that there was a big drive for testing people and there were lockdowns. The problems are most serious in Shenzhen and Dongguan. Due to large-scale testing and lockdown, though the ports are not closed, we see shortage of drivers and there is a congestion at Chinese ports. However, one must factor that lot of times the disruption in supply chain primarily is because problems in manufacturing rather than problems in the logistics. And manufacturer, exporters or traders often give excuse of logistics issues and pandemic to cover up their own problems. It is very difficult to get exact information when the issue is fragmented and localized and everybody has a different narrative. But most expect things should normalize in next 2 or 3 weeks. Let's see what happens.
Though in all parts of the shipping industry uncertainty prevails, Drybulk has found some strength against a backdrop of shifting cargo flows, real, envisaged, or completely imagined.
We are all aware that the world is going through difficult times with a lot of uncertainty, with shipping markets reacting to the short and the medium term developments dictated by dependence on Russia for energy, gas, coal, etc. Possible changes in the landscape of supplies, sanctions, port congestions, and the shipping inefficiencies. This is impacting and will continue to impact voyage duration and ton miles. Let us now look at the scenario in little bit detail. Considering the long-term perspective, with the backdrop of tight supply, the order book, inevitable demolition, and still awaited practical solution for sustainable alternate fuels to propel the ships, our general own opinion is that the owners are expected to enjoy good rates for a few years to come. Coming to short-term impact, the Russia-Ukraine developments continue to have effect on the dry bulk trade, with Ukrainian grain and iron ore almost standstill, which is suspended, and Russian exports of coal and grains down by almost 25% YTD in March so far. Sanctions as well as security issues in Black Sea are not helping the trade flows either. With the expected stimulus led by recent COVID outbreaks in China, which are expected to support the trade, the latest data shows the property sector still remaining under pressure, with the new housing starts at minus 12% year on year. Increasing domestic coal output, which is about 90% of the Chinese total coal consumption, was up by 10% year on year so far. More the domestic production, further reduction in the import of coal. So that is going to have a negative impact or negative pressure on the seaborne trade. Coming to India, India is poised to fill the demand gap of wheat with its balanced wheat stocks from the previous year and also the surplus production this year, provided the logistic bottlenecks and the quality concerns are addressed soon. We understand efforts are being made in this direction through increasing the warehouse capacity at the custom ports or near the nearby areas and also testing the wheat for quality. As per the Clarkson's latest shipping intelligence weekly, early 2022 saw an increase in bulk carrier port congestion in Indonesia as a result of lifting the ban in early January this year. Port congestion index averaged about 35% YTD till end of February, up from 33% in 2021. And if you compare with pre-COVID average of about 30%, so this is quite a big jump. A range of global events clearly continue to generate disruption. The impact of Russia-Ukraine conflict in particular could further amplify shipping inefficiencies. So disruption remains widespread and there is little sign yet of any material easing of port congestion. So in summary, going forward, market expects to react positively to China's support of financial markets and growth, a possible breakthrough from a compromise between Russia and Ukraine, continuing port congestion, tangling of Black Sea shipping routes, and security concerns in the Black Sea.
New building activity has been growing on a steady pace over the course of past few weeks despite ongoing uncertainty.
Why is the shipbuilding booming? Well, the most important reason is us. Our ever growing needs and wants are not stopping. The growing economies are not stopping. And thus the globalization of the trade. So the movement of goods from one place to another is obvious. And who else would do it than the ships which move around 90% of the global trade all around the world? That's one. Well, the second reason, which is very important, is if I can join the dots from my ship recycling knowledge, is the high rate of the scrap price which is prevalent these days. Most of the owners are trying to discard their old tonnage and use that money to buy new ships and build ships also. Also, finally, the environmental reasons which have been cited for the new rules and regulations that need to come into place, that are propelling the fact that the old tonnage has to go out and the new rules and regulations need to be implemented. And the best way to do it, not to retrofit, but to make a new ship. Finally, God has been great only on the logistics people during the COVID times, and our seafarers, the key workers, have been moving around the ships all over the world. And that soared the prices of logistics. Now this just ensured that container ships and certain specific ships, their prices grew a lot. The logistic prices grew a lot, and similarly, the prices of the ship also. This is going to reduce now, and that may just slow down the shipbuilding industry for this year.
On 15th March, the Nautical Institute launched Guidelines for the Maritime Expert Witness. This book provides invaluable assistance and advice to those who are new to giving expert evidence and serves as a timely reminder to seasoned hands.
For being an expert witness, there are some basic requirements. One is must be from the industry, must have experience and expertise pertaining to the dispute. The expert witness should not be seen to be taking sides. Ideally, he should be appointed by the tribunal. If he's got a past record, all the more good. Again, it is better to get trained as an expert witness, which is available now. Nautical Institute has taken some initiative. I suppose all countries should do that pertaining to their laws and how it is applied. Of course, English law prevails in a lot of places. But the most important thing is answering questions. It can be very simply yes and no. Do not elaborate. Do not get carried away. Do not assume that the case is like this or the question asked is to solve a second question or implying something. These are what experts must be careful about.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for watching. See you next Monday.